Hello. Yeah, we can talk about that later. We got pop. Hello, this is Hank with my crow host,
Gavin.
On the No Sports Sense podcast. Yes, we are coming back from a little bit of a hiatus.
I thought I was Hank.
Yeah, well, he's Hank, I'm Gavin. See, it's been so long we forgot our names, folks. That's crazy. Now, today's going to be a little bit of a different format we got for you. We got the 2018 NBA draft coming up here on Thursday, and all these pods are having all their mock drafts and discussing the prospects, and we figured we'd toss our ideas in the fucking pod universe. So we're going to go by pick and just give our thoughts, and, you can make a mock draft from there. Go have a gambling night with your buddies and use our really well observed thoughts to help you win that game.
You know, this year, Gavin, is actually the most exciting NBA draft since Shaq was drafted back in 1984. We've never seen so many stars popping out of high school and college to make this the most exciting draft we've seen yet. Right. And personally, my own personal lifetime, being that I'm only 18 years old.
And that's a very exciting thing also, is that it's rumor has it Shaq is Benjamin Buttoning right now and might be entering this draft, but that's an underground rumor we'll save for another pod. We'll see if that comes to bear. Number one on the ESPN mock draft, the Phoenix Suns are supposedly going to take DeAndre Ayton. Now, let me tell you why that is a bad choice. Ayton rhymes with Clayton, and there is a Clayton Bixby skit that is amazing, and you don't want to be competing with that kind of heat. You know what I'm saying?
Those kind of skits are so worldly renowned that you're just not going to be able to compete with that. And the rhyming nature of your name is going to really take that stock value down. And I don't think it's going to be a good fit for the Suns, because in Phoenix it's always sunny, always happy in Phoenix, like the TV show. You're not gonna have this guy coming in there bogging down everyone's happiness.
Exactly. So we know where we land on that. That is a fail.
With a hard F.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be saying nail or fail for each one of these picks, so that's a hard fail. Sacramento Kings with Luka Doncic as the number 2 pick. What do you think about that?
I think with a name like Luka, it kind of has a king renowned resonance to it, because if you know of King Luka III and Italy back in 1920, he was able to take the cavalry out of Austria-Hungary, and that's exactly the same kind of business we're going to be seeing here with the Kings. Is getting another King Luka, come in there and take the cavalry out of Sacramento and bring him down there into the Warrior State, Golden State team, and just knock them clean out. King Luka's here to stay. I say that is a hail.
Whoa, a hail.
That's right, with a hard H.
That's an unforeseen pick. I don't even know what it means.
Hail King Luka.
Oh, that's an even harder nail. Yeah, Luka is of European descent, and Vlade Divac is the GM for the Kings, and some say that his their shared European ancestry will make him be inclined. But we'll see if he thinks he's going to be a king. But we agree he's a hail. We'll see if Vlade fucks up this pick or not.
All hail King Luke.
Now, the Atlanta Hawks supposedly are going to pick somebody that it didn't print off right. So we're just going to have to go to the Memphis Grizzlies, because I can't even see what's on this board.
I think it's honestly a good pick for them. Last year, they just didn't have quite the season they needed to get by, and I think this pick is really going to help the team score some more points in the playoffs.
Well, maybe they should just forfeit the pick for nothing. That's what, when I printed this piece of paper off, that's what it did. So maybe that's what they need to do. Just take nobody and just say, hey, we don't need a guy. We're good with what we got. We are a struggling franchise that can't even take a shit. Who needs anybody else, It
might just be too much. It might be too much. There's too many names for me to already remember, first and foremost. So the coach is probably going to forget his name on the court and doesn't want to have to deal with the embarrassment of forgetting someone's name.
Why put the pressure on the youth like that when you can rely on vets, But let's go to the rest of the teams that are going to put pressure on the youth. Memphis Grizzlies with Mohamed Bamba. Now, here's my take on Bamba. He took a ride on the roller coaster Mamba in Kansas City a long time ago, and it was kind of there that his basketball skills kind of were bred, and a lot of people say that he wasn't actually named Bamba. He had his name changed to that after he rode the roller coaster Mamba. And I mean, I just don't know if you could trust the kind of guy that doesn't trust his own name at birth.
Bamba is Mamba for short. So what we see here is a man who's more closely linked to a snake than he is a grizzly. Would that be a good fit for Memphis?
I'm going to say it's a fucking fail.
I'm going with that one as well. Fail with a hard F.
Dallas Mavericks, Marvin Bagley III. Do you trust people that are the third of their lineage?
Absolutely, because they didn't get it right the first or the second time. The third time around, we knew this guy could bag bags. We're talking about he was working at your local Baker's supermarket, and he was in there putting in a bunch of cereal boxes inside the right bag. So therefore, all he has to do is now put a basketball inside of a basket. I think this is a great move for the Dallas Mavericks, and I think that this is going to be a big nail in the coffin.
Alrighty. And, okay, we got Orlando Magic with the 6th pick with Michael Porter Jr. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that's a fail. It's the summertime. I ain't drinking porters, okay? It should be a Michael Bach Light. If his name was Michael Bach Light, then I would maybe pick him. But I'm looking for summer beers. I'm looking for IPAs. I'm looking for light stuff. Porter is just a little too dark for me.
I'm thinking...
As a beer.
With Gary Porter Jr., is actually the
he could be the guy
who is the famous musician that we all know and love, George Porter Jr.
Now he's 70, but it doesn't mean he couldn't hack it.
I think that George Porter, being that he's from New Orleans and which is actually closer to Orlando, I think is a better pick. But I think George Porter, not Michael Porter Jr., should be in the NBA, and I think he should honestly be with the New Orleans Pelicans. So whoever the fuck they're picking, that's a fail. And a nail goes to George Porter Jr. for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Now, Wendell Carter Jr. for the 7th pick with the Chicago Bulls. I'm going to go ahead and go on instinct and say that would be a nail, because that supposedly is Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z and Beyonce's son, that was a bastard, but then became legitimized as of 2 years ago. And to me, if you got Jay-Z and Beyonce's genes, you're going to be king of the court.
Clearly, he's going to be a little too bootylicious for these babes sitting inside the Chicago Bull bullpen.
Yep. Now we got the Cleveland Cavaliers at number 8 with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, a lot of this is going to depend, obviously, if LeBron stays or goes. But if they go with this prospect, do you think that'd be a nail or a fail, regardless if LeBron stays or leaves?
Clearly, it's a fail. This guy's too shy to even give us his real name. We have a guy that's not going to have enough courage to step up when you need him to step up. And if my stats are correct, he was shooting only 35% free throws. Let's get a grip. Send him on down to another team known as Akron College. Zips.
We'll take that one as a fail. Now, number 9, New York Knicks with Trae Young. Some people say he's the next Steph Curry. I'm going to go ahead and tell you he's the next baby Curry, all right? He ain't going to be no Steph Curry. His name is Young. That means he's under 5 years old, period. I don't want 5-year-olds in my team. At the fucking minimum, I want them to be 8 years old. That's when they really start to develop and become real prospects.
I agree with you. Age is higher than stats. Now, we all know that he was shooting 80% from three-point range, but that's not going to translate well when you get to the NBA. It's a different league, and these are older men, and he's too young for the game, and I just don't feel like that he's going to be able to keep up with the big boys.
All right, how about Mikal Bridges at number 10 for the Philadelphia 76ers? Would that be a good pick?
What I think is what he's going to do is he's going to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, and I believe that this is going to be not a good move for the team itself, but it's going to be a good move financially for the team, because I think that what's going to happen is going to have more ticket sales, because he's going to have a little more of a political stance that's going to be right on the bridge.
Nail. Solid nail. Charlotte Hornets with Colin Sexton number 11. I'm going to go ahead and outright say that is a fucking nail. Because this guy, in order to be drafted, needs to have sex with every single person on your team. And we all know there's a little bit of homophobia in professional sports locker rooms, and we want to be able to break that open. You know, there was that player that came out several years ago as openly gay, but has been a little silent on that front since lately. So we want Colin Sexton to really open up the dialogue for men to be more comfortable with their sexuality. And not only that, but he'll be able to hit a nice jumper and a good free throw.
As his name indicates, he will have a ton of sex. It doesn't matter if it's in the colon.
There we go. How about the LA Clippers? I know you're a fan of this franchise there, and, you know, the days of Blake and Chris are long gone. So what do you think about them taking Lonnie Walker, the fourth, with the 12th pick? Now, we agreed earlier Bagley for the third was a good pick, but the fourth, you starting to get a little genetic mutation by the fourth?
Well, I mean, we all know that Walker III just didn't cut it for the team, and he played back in 1920 when the team was actually known as the Buffalo Bridges. And so now, as an LA Clipper, Lonnie Walker IV here, I think that he presents a good chance. But the biggest problem is the fact that he doesn't have enough hustle in his game, and so that's going to really be a nail in the coffin for me for a fail.
That's a fail. And not to mention, from what I heard, with his name being Lonnie Walker, he sometimes needs a walker to even get up and down the court. You know, he's pretty flat-footed.
That's exactly what I was referring to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, we got number...
When I said he wasn't a hustler.
I can't read who has the 13th pick on this sheet.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him. We're going to go ahead and go to the 14th pick. Kevin.
No, they're going to skip 13th. Unlucky. Nobody does 13th. Trust me.
Trust me.
Nobody knows it better than I do. Nobody does 13th.
Giannis Antetokounmpo was a 13th pick, and what did that guy end up being? A fucking piece of garbage.
He's absolutely... Wait for it to come on the 13th day of the 13th year of the 13th month. We're going to see.
Mm-hmm. Everything you've seen so far, fool's gold, folks. All right, we're on the 14th pick. Denver Nuggets with Kevin Knox. Now, I have really ambivalent feelings about this guy. On one hand, he knows how to dunk it from the free throw line, but the other hand, he can't dunk it from the three-point line. So, I don't know. What do you do with a guy kind of like that? You know, ambivalent signs of his athleticism. He can shoot, but he also has a low defensive IQ. I really don't know what to do with this guy other than put him in a water tank and the underground Atlantic Ocean and really get him doing that program that Kyle Korver did and really get his game up. But I don't know if he's got the commitment to that at this age. So I'm going to go ahead and say fail.
I'll say fail as well because Kevin Knox, as we saw from 1989, Tim Burton's Batman, he's not an athletic man. Fail as well, Bill. I agree with you.
All right. We haven't had any disagreements yet. That's good. But, you know, brilliant draft minds think alike. About 15th, Washington Wizards, Miles Bridges. What do you think about this guy? A lot of people think he's got too many miles on his odometer. I'm going to say fail, but maybe you disagree.
I'm actually going to go ahead and say, yeah, I agree that he's a nail in the coffin. That he's a bridge to bring all these Wizards back together, because as we all know, the Warriors have been winning, and in the video game Wizards and Warriors in the NES 1973 game, the Warriors have been winning, and the Wizards will eventually win, and I think it's going to be happen through miles worth of bridges to bridge the gap that has been widened by the Warriors, and the Wizards with Miles Bridges will be able to finish this game. He's a nail in the coffin. He's actually the only thing. He's the biggest name I see in here because he's the only one that's going to be able to take an entire franchise to beat the Warriors, which is the number one thing any team can do.
All right, we'll say nail, but Jeff Bridges might have something to say about that. We'll see. 16th, Phoenix Suns, if they pick Zaire Smith. Now, I already got a problem with this off the bat because Zaire is a third world country, and last time I checked, third world countries are not successful. Fail. 17th, Milwaukee Bucks, Mitchell Robinson. What do you think about that guy?
He's kind of the second pick. I mean, I'm not sure why they didn't go with Mitchell Batmanson because nobody goes for Robin. Robin's a little weaker. He's a little more feeble, so I'm going to say it's a fail.
Fail. San Antonio Spurs, 18th pick, Dazan Musa. Now, Spurs pick right all the time. I think he could fit in the Spurs system. Greg Popovich will take him out to dinner and give him a nice roast. That's a nail.
Nail in the coffin.
19th, Atlanta Hawks, Eli Okubo. Well, he's close enough to Okaboji. Okaboji's close to me. I'd say that is a nail.
And riding in the fact that he is also close to Okoboji, he's also close to the Atlantic coast, where he will be when he's picked by the Atlantic Hawks. So I would say nail in the coffin.
All right, we only have time for one more. Not going to be able to round out the top 30 for you, but we'll be able to finish the top 20. Kevin Herter for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you think he'd be able to fit his game alongside a Karl Anthony Towns or a Jimmy Butler?
I think because he has the name Kevin, and Kevin is a very prominent name throughout the Minnesota Timberwolves with Kevin Love and Kevin Garnett, I think he is the third Kevin to complete the trinity that will guide them to their very first conference championship.
Well, there you have it, folks. Well, only time will tell. We'll see if this draft has another LeBron James or Len Bias, who did die of the cocaine drug. We'll see which one they get.
We'll see you next time. And for next year's draft pick, stay tuned and listen to what Hank and Gavin say, bringing you all your sports news from tomorrow.
Today.